just gone on too long. Nobody cares anymore. I don't want to live in your paranoid world anymore, your masked paranoid world. You know, you go out, it's silly now. You know, you have to have your mask, you have to have a card, you have to have a booster.
This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants.
Bill Maher is back, taking aim at political correctness. And this time, his focus is on Whoopi Goldberg. Since 2022, Goldberg has made several controversial statements, stirring debate and strong reactions. Maher didn't just criticize her, he systematically broke down her arguments, delivering a response that caught many off guard. His sharp rebuttal left Goldberg's supporters divided, with some defending her and others questioning her stance. But what exactly did she say that led to such a strong reaction? And how did Maher's response add fuel to the conversation? Let's dive into all the details.
Past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more...
Whoopi Goldberg has stepped right into the center of a heated controversy, and the fallout is impossible to ignore. After Bill Maher called out Sunny Hostin for misrepresenting his words, tensions on The View have only escalated. This time, Whoopi is not holding back. She's taken it upon herself to fire back, making it clear that she's ready for a fight. When Sunny struggled under the pressure, she turned to Whoopi for backup, and Whoopi delivered, unleashing a passionate and unfiltered response. The debate is in full swing, and the stakes are high.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Whoopi Goldberg is back at it, diving headfirst into a debate with her usual fiery approach. This time, she's pushing a narrative that doesn't quite hold up. While Bill Maher laid out a straightforward argument, Black Americans want real job opportunities, a strong economy, and accountable policing. Whoopi took the conversation in an entirely different direction. She defended a former prosecutor with big promises for the working class, but her argument seemed scattered, failing to connect with the core issue. Meanwhile, Maher didn't let it slide, quickly calling out the flaws in her reasoning. The clash was inevitable, and the debate is far from over.
Get rid of the police. Just, no, it's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Bill Maher didn't hold back, calling out Whoopi Goldberg's arguments as completely baseless, a sharp contrast to the usual narrative on The View. Let's be honest, the show has become more of a political battleground than a talk show, drawing viewers in with its over-the-top debates and controversial opinions. Just when you think it can't get any more chaotic, Whoopi and Sunny Hostin take things to another level with their bold and unpredictable takes. And who could forget Charlemagne the God's appearance? His reaction said it all. You could almost see him questioning whether he had stepped into an entirely different reality.
I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that.
Surprising move. President Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who faced convictions for tax evasion and illegal firearm possession. This decision has ignited widespread debate, with critics arguing it undermines the principle of equal justice. They contend that while the president has emphasized accountability, this act suggests a double standard within his own family. Supporters, however, assert that Hunter was subjected to selective prosecution due to his political connections. This development has intensified discussions about fairness and integrity in the justice system.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You
his
really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all
No,
of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Whoopi Goldberg is once again stirring up controversy, this time by defending President Biden's statement that no one is above the law. Her unwavering support has sparked debate, especially given the ongoing discussions about Hunter Biden's legal troubles. Critics argue that the president's actions contradict his words, while Whoopi insists he's standing by his principles. As reactions pour in, one thing is clear: this discussion is far from over.
The nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
Charlemagne could hardly believe what he was hearing. Whoopi Goldberg doubled down, claiming that President Biden's shift in stance wasn't hypocrisy, but simply frustration from being taken advantage of. Her attempt to justify the contradiction left even Charlemagne at a loss for words. While some viewers agreed with her, many others saw it as a blatant attempt to twist the narrative. The debate over Biden's actions and Whoopi's defense continues, with no sign of slowing down.
I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
you're
go out.
mis-
They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen.
They don't have to.
Bill Maher didn't hold back when he called out the hypocrisy on full display. While Whoopi and her co-hosts may have avoided direct pushback from Charlemagne, Maher was having none of it. He took their selective outrage head-on, exposing how quickly they shift their standards depending on who's involved. His takedown was sharp, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore, leaving no room for the usual deflections.
Love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bull.
Bill Maher didn't mince words, calling out the hypocrisy at the heart of the so-called woke movement. He pointed out how the same group that champions justice and fairness is quick to ignore those principles when it's one of their own, like Hunter Biden. His guilt was undeniable, but thanks to his father's power, he was able to avoid consequences, something that would never happen to someone outside their circle. Maher's remarks struck at the heart of a broken system, where the powerful are treated differently than the rest of us. He didn't just criticize Hunter, he spotlighted the larger issue of how this double standard runs rampant in both politics and media, making a mockery of the very ideals they claim to uphold.
To bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I'm
this.
saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not.
The media worked overtime to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, attempting to protect President Biden and derail Trump's re-election efforts. They dismissed the allegations as nothing more than Russian disinformation, conveniently ignoring mounting evidence while silencing critics. On The View, Whoopi Goldberg jumped in, dismissing the claims without hesitation. But Bill Maher wasn't having any of it. He called her out, accusing her of deflecting from the real issues and systematically exposing the hypocrisy behind her arguments for everyone to see.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
Bill Maher nailed it. The women of The View, especially Whoopi Goldberg, aren't just progressive. They are like a group of sharks, ready to attack anyone who dares challenge their ideology. Their debate style isn't about meaningful discussion or finding the truth. It's about silencing opposing views with scorn and harsh comments. Whoopi, in particular, has perfected the art of dismissing other opinions with a wave of her hand, as if they don't even deserve a response. Maher, however, isn't afraid to call out these tactics, accusing them of bullying disguised as activism. It's no wonder he's a thorn in their side, consistently highlighting their double standards and offering a refreshing break from the echo chambers they've created.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office, but they do. They live here, and they actually see women and people of color, and it doesn't look like some patriarchal racist nightmare. Do problems remain pertaining to racism? And
once again, Bill Maher delivers a knockout punch. His response is a perfect antidote to the usual narrative, but people like Whoopi seem bound to clash with his message. Before we dive into the next heated exchange, let's quickly recap what Bill Maher just laid out.
Last year asked if America is the greatest country in the world. More blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic.
Bill Maher is making it clear the progressive crowd needs to stop complaining about Trump's victory and face the facts. He didn't steal, rig, or fabricate his win. He earned it because millions of Americans connected with his message. Instead of pointing fingers at Russia, racism, or blaming Twitter, it's time to accept that in a democracy, sometimes the other side wins. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's democracy at work. The sooner they let go of the victim mentality and start planning for the future, the better their chances will be in 2028 or even 2032.
Asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. The votes are in. They don't want your pity. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Bill Maher makes a strong point. Not all Trump voters are die-hard supporters of his personality or flashy symbols. Many cast their ballots out of frustration with the Democrats' constant lectures and what they see as irrational, anti-common sense policies pushed by the woke crowd. Issues like letting biological men compete in women's sports or participating in rallies with questionable affiliations have turned off a large segment of voters. People didn't choose Trump because they loved his style. They voted for him because the alternative felt like a lecture from someone who couldn't relate to their everyday struggles. If the left wants to win, maybe it's time they shift away from extreme ideas and start focusing on what truly matters to the average American.
There's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him. They certainly are those. And then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-com.
Bill Maher delivered a savage blow to Whoopi Goldberg's tired talking points with a witty and sharp comeback. Whoopi, trying to position herself as the voice of authority, took a swing at Maher for daring to hold different opinions. Big mistake. Maher's response was classic. Direct, brutally honest, and laugh-out-loud funny. He pointed out the ridiculousness of someone on a show that prides itself on offering diverse viewpoints criticizing him just because he disagreed with her. The irony was impossible to miss. A group that claims to promote tolerance seems to only tolerate its own ideas. Maher wasn't buying it, and he tore apart the woke echo chamber that Whoopi...
Saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
And others inhabit, where independent thought is shunned and dissent is a sin. Watching him dismantle their arguments felt like witnessing a master at work, using sarcasm and sharp logic to expose the flaws. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe. Catch you in the next one.